Hi. I watched a YouTube video a week or so back. Somebody else who was doing a similar sort of thing to me. And he made a comment which I thought was quite interesting. And he said that often people that are watching these videos are looking to learn and get a sense of how to play something, etc. But they're also trying to get a sense of I guess something to compare themselves to. And with that in mind, he said that often you don't know how long a piece has been practiced for, how many takes it takes to get a performance, etc. So I thought I'd just give you a brief bit of insight because I'm at that spot right now with Arabesque. And Arabesque I've had for 14 weeks, and it's done its dash, right? It's not nowhere near perfect. So you couldn't go and play it in an exam or anything like that, right? It's not polished enough to do that. There's at least probably another 10 weeks of work practicing it to get it up to that standard. But it's done what it needed to do for me. So the reason I get pieces given to me is not to be able to play them flawlessly, but to be able to learn the techniques, the skills, etc. That piece offers the opportunity to learn. And so I have challenge pieces and I have quick study pieces. Quick study pieces keep me moving along, stop me getting bored. Challenge pieces are there to basically broaden out the set of skills that I've got. Now, that's not to say that we use them to get those skills up to a point where those skills are finished either, because it's not like that, right? It's a process of developing a skill, then building on it, using it in different ways, and then you gradually increase your use of that skill. So it's like the sort of the 10,000 hours process. You've got to be doing something for 10,000 hours before you become a master at it. You don't just learn a skill by learning a particular piece. You build upon that skill with all the pieces that use that and expand on it. So Arabesque and Dig Those Earthworms, Giga was another one. Those are all my challenge pieces that have given me a baseline of skills, if you like, which I've then built upon with the later pieces. And at some point, you get to a point where you're just not going to learn anything more from learning that piece and trying to play it through. And given I'm not doing exams, I don't care if they're not polished. All right? Once they've done what they need to do for me, they're gone. And that's the same. That's what's happening with Arabesque now. So having made the decision with Jane a couple of days ago that actually I probably wasn't going to get much more out of Arabesque, the process then becomes, I want to get a recording of it for posterity for my channel, right? So I want to put it up there so I know what I've done. It's a record. And the process then comes down to, I'll just record my practice sessions for the next few days up until it's officially retired. So there's still 3 days left in this particular week. And I might get 3 practice sessions in, I might only get 2, but whatever, I'll record them. And I'll go back and I'll have a look at those practice sessions and I'll pick what's probably a representative sample from that. And I'll put that up on my channel as the performance. It's unlikely, but there might actually be a perfect playing through, in which case that'll be the one that goes up. But that's never happened yet. So I don't think much chance of that here. So that's how I get my process, my performance records. It's worth knowing that if I look back at the time I've spent learning Arabesque, I've learnt it for a total of 14 weeks. And over that time, I've practiced up to date. I've practiced it on 59 practice sessions, and I've done that for a total of 7 hours and 56 minutes. So that works out at an average of about 8 minutes per practice session on Arabesque, which means that if I get the full 3 practice sessions in, there'll be another 24 minutes of practice on Arabesque. So I'll be picking a playthrough from that amount of practice time, if you like. At a max, so if I only do 2 sessions, it'll only be 16 minutes worth to look at. So that's pretty much how it goes. What are we doing now? This is not the way I normally practice. I've just done another video on how I practice, which you might want to look at. But what I'll be doing for these next practice sessions is I'll be starting at the start and going right through to the end, and that's unusual. That's not the way I normally practice. But I will be doing that from this point forward with this piece because I want to try and get the performance record of it. So that's probably about all I think I can comment on at this point. That's the process. There's not a lot of work got into them, so there'll be a total of just over 8 hours probably gone into the Arabesque performance that I'm about to do. It will have been, in terms of lessons, there were 3 lessons actually spent learning it, because there's 3 major pieces in it. A start, a middle, and an end, and they're all quite a bit different. So I had a lesson on each of those, and there were 4 lessons where, in the overall 14 weeks, there were 4 lessons where Jane reviewed what I was doing to date on it and gave me some feedbacks and some tips, etc., which I would then build into the practice sessions that occurred after that. So that's the statistics, if you like, for Arabesque, and that's not too dissimilar to the likes of Dig Those Earthworms or the Giga piece, which I did, which are a couple of other challenge pieces I've done in the past. So yeah, that's about it. And that same applies for the quick study pieces, by the way, as well. So once I decide they're going to be retired, I just record the next couple of practice sessions and get a recording down and move on. Right, hope that's useful.